July is Disability Pride Month, a time to celebrate difference. White Bear Lake's Bentley Erickson and his mom, Chris, hope to remind people that disabilities can be your superpower. I spoke to them about their journey in hopes of helping other families. Bentley, Chris, thank you so much for coming on and joining us this Sunday evening. We're happy to have you here to talk about an important topic. So I'll start with our first question. Why is Disability Pride Month so special to your family in particular?
Thank you so much for having us. Disability Pride Month is important to us because equity and accessibility are imperative to families like ours, and having a child with medical complexities is something that most parents are not aware of or not prepared for when they have a child with disabilities. And so this journey is often a very complex and difficult role that families are just they come into on their own. And so it's often compared to like running a marathon each day. And so we often go down this journey on our own, and we just want families to not feel like they're alone out there.
Well, let's talk about Bentley here. You said medical complexities. What are some of the differences that he has?
Sure. Bentley was born prematurely, and he was born with craniofacial differences. He was born without a left ear, so he has these super cool glasses that were adapted for him. And he receives most of his nutrition through a feeding tube. So he receives his nutrition with this awesome tube feeding Real Food Blends. So most of his food is blended up into that special formula, so he gets his healthy nutrition like most kids do off of their plate, but it's blended up for him. He also has hydrocephalus, which is really hard to explain to kids and families, and so we have found a way to do that through these great books. The Abilities in Me by Gemma Keir. And so it is geared towards kids to be able to explain that, but we found this really awesome resource that have many different diagnoses that Gemma has created this tool for families. And so Bentley also has to have his finger poked a couple times a month. And so she has a diabetes one as well. And those books have been an awesome tool to be able to explain that to kids and our family, and it would be great to have those in a school resource as well. So Bentley has a lot of complexities, a long list of diagnoses, but they really don't define who he is. Bentley is love, and Bentley is loved.
I've seen his personality already, and that's how I would define Bentley, as being warm, fun, talkative, with the thumbs up and everything, so I can see what makes him stand out already. When you do get some questions in public, if people are curious about how he's eating or his glasses and how they fit towards his face and some of the other differences, how does your family handle those questions?
That's a really wonderful question. We really hope that kids honor, or families honor, the kids' curiosity by opening up that dialogue and just say, you know, hi friend, hi Bentley, come on up and ask those questions, because the best way to learn is just by coming up and asking those questions. We welcome those questions because different is okay. And the best way to learn about disabilities is to ask those questions.
Specifically, if you were to give advice to parents, how would you want them to tell their children to talk with someone who maybe has some differences? Is it just to ask those questions in a polite manner?
Yes, we truly believe that if you come up with kindness and empathy, that you're going to be met with kindness and empathy. And that's truly how you learn is, you know, kids are curious. And if you come up, you know, and treat families with kindness and love and empathy, I truly believe that you'll be met with that. And most of us that I know that live in this medical complexity and disability world, we want to teach others that, and we want to open up those doors and break down those barriers, and we want families to learn.
And lastly, what would you say to parents who might struggle to talk to their children about differences, or especially differences that they might be seeing in other children?
We would encourage families to sit down with their kids and just talk about those differences, have open communication, have open dialogue about differences. And it really just begins with those, you know, curious conversations. Different is okay. And how do you learn about differences? You just have those communications at home and you say, well, I may have been born with brown eyes. You may have been born with blue eyes. And having those communications at home, it's just not polite to stare. And when you have those conversations, that's when you break down those barriers.
And again, those conversations can start up this month for Disability Pride Month. Bentley, one more time, how did we do with the interview? Thumbs up. Perfect. Well, Bentley, Chris, thank you again both for talking with us on this important topic, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor.